So I go, he goes, don't worry, this is going to be an easy one. And I kept telling him, boy, he's got this big TV, he's got this marble table, all his jewelry, everything. And his apartment was right on the street. You could fucking see it. So they get the search warrant, and it reads as follows. And they always wait till like the last day so that they can't figure out who was, if they can't figure out who was in his house at that day. He doesn't know, but this guy always looked at me as a rat. He didn't like me one bit, but what can he do? I'm with John, so what could he do? Fucking, wait till you see what I did to this. So anyway, they get the search warrant, and the search warrant reads as follows. On or about such and such a date, SEIC 10000. I had a lot of zeros in my CI number. I don't know why. Whoa, a whole bunch of zeros, 126, I think it was. Observed one gray safe with with a stack of cash, an undetermined amount of cash, and 3 kilos of cocaine, a gun, and blah, 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 blah. One gray safe. So they wait till the little prick comes out of his house and goes. Now, that's what the search warrant read. So then they show up with a U-Haul, and they moved him out. They took everything. They took his clothes, his jewelry, his... and they took the TV, the marble table, his jewelry, some leather furniture, a leather couch, an expensive leather couch. They took all the expensive stuff, plus all his clothes. He had not one stitch of clothes, other than the ones that were on his back at this time. So he leaves, they move him out. They get the TV. I'm gonna tell the story a little out of turn. So they take the TV, the leather couch, the marble table, and it's all seized. And it goes right to 555 West 57th Street, 26th floor, 27th floor, was rented by the DEA. That marble table wound up in the coffee room of the DEA. That big TV, that went right in Joel's office, took his TV. And what else? So they took those three, oh, and the leather couch. The leather couch they put in Joel's office. So anyone that sat across from sat in the drug. And these agents love ripping them off. Because most of Colombian drug dealers, they were like really cheap guys. They would go into a store like Macy's and try to get I'll give you this much. And they were just like cheap, and they loved their money. They loved it. So that's how you hit them. You hit them there. So they take all the stuff out and they move it. And this is what they do. So on the search warrant, now they broke his door down. On the search warrant, it had what I told you, how it read. And then it said seized, one gray unopened safe. Now that's very important. Now that safe belongs to John. And he's got 64 grand in it, and he's got 3 kilos of cocaine. One table, one this, one that, one that. So on the search warrant, Tom Sylvanki writes out everything that they took, an itemized list. Took it, taped it to the door. So when that little asshole came back, he came back to the search warrant on the door, his apartment emptied, robbed by the DEA, and he takes off. He runs. Then he calls up John, and he says, oh, the DEA, they raided my place. I'm in Manhattan. So now he's in Manhattan with his girlfriend. This is like a day and a half later. He's all coked up, drunk, in a hotel on 57th Street in Sutton Place, somewhere down there on the east side of Manhattan. And he's asking John for $10,000. You got to give me $10,000. They seized that. So we meet him, and he goes to give John the search warrant, and I took it. Now I'm looking right in his face like a little bitch now. I took it, and he's looking at me like I did it, and he was right. I did do it, and I'm looking right at him like, yeah, you little fuck. Yeah, I did do it. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it now? There's no marble table in between me and you little. I wanted to just fucking. Oh, that guy got me so pissed. But now I got the last laugh. So now I take the search warrant because don't forget, I'm John Uribe's technical consultant. Who would know better about these things than me? And as it turned out, I knew more than even I thought I knew. So I'm looking at it, and he's saying, I need 10,000. I need 10,000 for a lawyer. I need 10. I got to turn myself in. They got the safe. They got the safe. They got the safe. Now remember, on the search warrant, they said 1 gray unopened safe. Remember that. So okay, take the search warrant. John gave him a couple of grand because now he thinks he's on the run. he thinks they're gonna arrest him. They're not gonna arrest him. They just took his shit and bitch slapped him. That's what they did. And so I read the search warrant, and I said, okay, listen. You realize, John, that everyone that gets grabbed, especially with the DEA, they all flip. I says, you can't give him 10,000. If you give him 10,000 and he becomes a cooperating witness, you're never going to know until it's too late, till they grab you, and then you're screwed. And now John's going, oh shit, he's right. I'm really scaring the shit out of him. So I say, so then he wants to kill him. So I say, no, and of course I can't be any part of that. I don't want to get the kid killed, but I just wanted to beat the shit out of him, and I never got a chance to. But when he didn't have that marble table in between me and him, he didn't get tough with me on 57th Street, because I would have beat his ass. So anyway, so I'm looking at the paperwork, and I says, you can't give him the money, but I'll tell you what you can do, which will ensure he's not going to rat you out, or at least if he does rat you out, you will be the first to know. So he's looking at me like you guys in TV land out there. Well, how could that possibly be? So John had gotten several DUI arrests, and he had a lawyer. He had a pretty good one. So I say, we're going to go back and we're going to meet him, and you're not going to give him no money at all. Instead, we're going to call your lawyer, and we're going to pay him to represent him and to make arrangements to turn himself in. Okay, so again, John Uribe once retained, it's his lawyer, and now he becomes his. The second that he becomes a cooperating witness, his lawyer can no longer represent him and has to. So wow, John was going, holy shit. That's a great point. And, you know, if I could reach it, I would pat myself on the back for coming up with that idea. So now we meet the guy again, and he thinks John's showing up with 10 grand. John's showing up with his lawyer's business card. Again, the guy's all coked up, and he's like really, he looks like as though he hasn't slept in 3 days. That's probably because he didn't. So meet him on the corner of, I think it was Sutton Place and 57th Street. And he appears out of nowhere, and he goes, okay, good, give me I need the money. I got to turn myself in. I got to turn myself in. So John goes, okay, I'm not giving you any money. Your attorney's fees have been taken care of. I paid it. Here's your lawyer. Call him first thing in the morning. And also on the search warrant, where he itemized all the things that they seized, Tom put his name and his phone number, his direct line, on the document, on the search warrant. So he was all bent out of shape. He says, no, that's it. Take it or leave it. That's your lawyer. Call him up. And this guy got the message when John, who's always like a nice guy, said, no, that's it. You call him first thing in the morning, and we're going to take care of this. And the guy gives me another dirty look, but that's okay. I didn't want to beat his ass because I already just did. I did more than beat his ass. And again, this guy was a Puerto Rican, from Puerto Rico. And so he walks off. Next day pops up. John's on the phone to his lawyer. Did he call? No. Now I'm feeding him, saying, okay, this guy's already cooperating. He knows that if he signs up with your lawyer, that he can't cooperate. Your lawyer's going to tell you. I mean, he's going to have to, nothing's good coming. The second, 3 days later, meanwhile, he was on a binge with his girlfriend. So meanwhile, John gets him. We go to 57th Street again. Hey, you call him tomorrow? And he just said, you call. He was like really pissed, John. Told the little prick to call the lawyer. So so the next morning, he makes the call to the lawyer. And now the lawyer, I think we gave him a copy. We gave his lawyer a copy of the search warrant. So now John's lawyer has the copy of the search warrant that Tom left on his door. So the lawyer calls up Tom Silvanki. I think there was like a day or two, Tom didn't answer the phone. And now this guy's probably ODing on 57th Street in Sutton Place. He did it. Okay, so he keeps calling, and bang, Tom answers. He goes, I'm telling Tom, answer. No, he goes, let him sweat. Meanwhile, all that stuff is in the group supervisor's office. They have coffee. Now coffee stains all over his $8,000 marble table. And it was just so funny. So now he finally, I tell Tom, answer the phone. Stop. I want, come on. It's like a climax, okay? I want to see what happens from here. So Tom answers the phone. And the lawyer, very professional, he gave us we went to his office. And he said, this is what happened. I get a hold of him, I got a copy of the search warrant, and I says, he represents Jose, whatever his name was, and I would like to make arrangements to surrender my client and get arraigned so that we can post bail and all that. Tom Silvanki answers, well, what makes you think we want to arrest him? And of course, the attorney picks up the search warrant and goes, well, didn't you seize this one gray unopened safe? That's what it said, unopened safe. Well, didn't you seize all of these items? And he reads them off and he says, yes, we did. And he says, well, I'd like to make arrangements to come down and surrender my client and go from there, get him bailed out. And he goes, what makes you think we want to arrest your client? Again, he goes to him, what makes you think? He goes, well, you got all of this. Well, the guy didn't know what to say because the lawyer was told by John what was in the safe. And of course, they're waiting to get arrested, to turn himself in. So Tom says, I don't know what you're talking about, counselor. We don't want to arrest, we're not arresting your client. Have a good day. And he slams the phone down. And then the lawyer relays this to me and John. And we're saying, okay, well, there's two things that happened here. One of two things that happened here. One is that piece of crap got a locksmith and opened, it was just a combination safe. It was probably $1,000 safe back then. It wasn't that big. And I said, he could have got a locksmith to come over. The safe is in his house. He's got ID with that address. He could have just had the guy open it up. They can open it up. Maybe he did that. And maybe when they seized that gray unopened safe, there was nothing in it. He ripped you off, and this is all a bunch of bullshit. So now John's getting pissed off. Or there was shit in there, and he's already cooperating because don't forget, like 5 days went by while he was coked up. Nobody knew where he was. So then it was like, holy crap. So then the lawyer calls his new client and says, I don't know what's going on here, but they're not interested in arresting you. Was there anything in that? Now they're talking. And he goes, I don't know. And then, of course, John gets on the phone, and he goes, so John threatened him on the phone, on the cell phone. He threatened him. And the guy disappeared and was never heard from again. Did John have him whacked? Or did he go back to Puerto Rico? And I don't know. But I think that's a pretty cool story. And I'm going to do another one today. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it was educational to all you crime buffs out there. And more is going to come. Thank you so much again for all you guys that have been subscribing. My numbers are creeping up a little bit. It would be a lot better if you just push the damn button. Just push it, push it, push it. All right. Thanks again, and God bless you all.